So I'm just looking which table having data. Okay, this permanent table having data. So here we don't have live system. This is a free trial, right? So we'll take two tables here. So this is the table. In this table having data. Okay. Create or replace table. So now onwards I'm trying to make a transient table. Okay, transient table. Instead of permanent, I'll take employee table. Transient table, employee underscore clone. This is a new table, right? Just use a clone, that's it. And use the existing table name. Okay, so we are adding clone, C-L-O-N-E, clone. So which means this table, in this table, how many records are there? The complete records, it will move to this table. We'll see it. Select star from employee underscore clone. So it is moved complete records. So this clone, one word is sufficient. Okay, so here this clone ideally you may think this should be a keyword, but why this is still it is appearing in a black color? So this we cannot 100% say this is not a keyword and this is not a user friendly word. Okay, this should be a clone and it is a combination of keyword and user related convenient name, whatever it is you can call it as. Okay, so when we are trying to cloning, in the right side the existing table name we have to specify it, and in the left side we have to give our new table, which table level you want to copy. This is from table and this is to table. Okay, so once this cloning is done, it doesn't matter how many records are available in this table. If this table having employee table having some billions and trillions of data, it just load, it will move into this table, employee underscore clone. Okay, so if I go to the history, so if I click, so here cloning. Okay, so for cloning, if you go to the history, it is not considering virtual warehouse size, which means it is charging zero cost. Okay, for cloning, virtual warehouse size is not at all required. So that is the beauty of Snowflake. Okay, so then you may get out how this still today organizations are, how they are following. I'll try to elaborate. For traditional databases, what they used to do is, production, and quality, and development. So if you take any database, any traditional database except Snowflake and cloud, okay, so I hope you guys are already aware these are landscapes. Okay, development system, quality system, and production system. Okay, it is not mandatory 3 landscape, so it may be can maintain one landscape. Within one landscape, it will be maintained clients. One client is for development, one client is for quality, and one client is for production. So ideally, it is not suggestible. Okay, so for enterprise organizations, it doesn't matter for them. So they will always go ahead with different systems for production, quality, and development. Okay, few organizations they will go ahead for production system, and another system will be quality and development system. One client for development and one client for quality. So these are the landscapes. Okay, so here in Snowflake, so the sorry, in traditional databases, how they are following is in case here here we have a table employee. So in that employee table, somewhere around having some 1,000 crores records are there. Okay, so out this 1,000 records, somewhere around some 90 lakhs records, we need to correct it. So if you perform directly, it is not at all suggestible, and no one recommend to directly make changes on production system. Okay, so no organizations will allow you. So that case, what they will do is they will identify the how many records they want to get it updated. So those many records has to find out. So which means one dedicated technical expert has to look at the employee tables data and how many records it to get updated. Okay, those records they has to collect it. So those all records they has to move from production to development table. So when they are moving this data from production to development table, so they need the help of admin people or basis people permissions, and once they will give the access, or else if you mail them, so they will copy of this table's data to the development table. So when the moment we are copying of the data, so based on the volume of the data, accordingly Snowflake accordingly so whichever database you are working, accordingly they will charge it. Okay, so once you make the corrections, then we have to deploy it. Once the correction is done, they has to deploy it. These corrections has to test in development system. Once that testing is done, then we can move to quality. In the quality, we will test it in detail testing. So in this quality also it is success, then we will directly move into production. So here the employee identifying the number of records, employee efforts, and moving the data from production to development system. We may require basis or admin people help required, and based on the volume of the data, accordingly the database will charge it. And here, once the correction is done, the technical developer done the changes, then there will be a dedicated people who are testing those scenarios, or the end user or the consumers, they may test it. So once they test it thoroughly, then once they agreed it, then we will move to quality. In the quality also, they has to test it. So once the testing is done, then we can deploy from quality to production system. Okay, so to complete this process, if it is a high what I can say, it is a emergency emergency changes, so it has to done it within 24 hours. So this all people has to involve, and everyone has to work, and everyone has to contribute here. So if it is a medium or normal, then it may go ahead to 2 working days to 7 working days. Okay, sometimes it may go more than 10 days also. Okay, but in Snowflake, so the same concept. So we just apply clone. I'm logging to development system. I don't care about how many records I want to identify it, because it is a free of cost. I'll log into development system and I'll clone it. I'm trying to creating a table. Create table. Table name EMP, clone, production table, employee. So what we'll do is, it will copy the complete employee table data to development table. Within fraction of milliseconds, it will get transferred to development system. So the charge is 0. It is free of cost. So once you made the correction, we have a live data in development system. So whatever, how many ways or how many times you want to test it, so that live data, it is already available in the live system. You can test it in the development system, and if you feel everything is fine, then there is another topic called swap. So that I'll tell you how. So it just, once you apply a swap, what it will do is, so here in the development system having corrected data. So this data, it will move from development to production, and the production data moved from development system. So I can delete the development table in a development system. That's it. No need to deploying nothing. If you are really sure about data, and if you are corrected, and if the consumer is available, and if they tested, immediately they can, within a fraction of max half an hour to 1 hour, we can make the correction and we can move to production. So here in the development, so the correction you did, right? Once you did the correction and you used to do testing, right? So in testing, which warehouse you are using, so accordingly Snowflake will charge it. That's it. For moving this data, corrected data from development to production system, this is also 0 cost only. So it will save multiple people involvement and testing and charging cost also, it is reducing heavily when you compare to traditional database. Clear? Any doubts here? Okay, so in the worksheet, so the data, it is copied from employee table to employee clone table. So in the employee clone table having 518 records. Okay, so now, so what I'm doing is, wherever midwist is there, I'm deleting these records from the table employee underscore clone. Delete from employee underscore clone where region equal to midwest. So total 152 records get deleted. So if I look for the data, earlier it was 518 records. After deleting midwest, so it is 366 records are available in the table now. So now you won't get any midwest records. Okay, but we'll see how many records are there in this table. So this table having 518 records. As I said, once the cloning is done, these two tables remains independent to each other. So I have deleted few records from the table called employee underscore clone. Okay. So I have deleted successfully, and if I look for the data, so the updated data we used to get it. But still this main table having 518 records only. So there is no impact here even if you clone it. So when we cloning, Snowflake will charge 0. So after cloning into this table, here we deleted records, right? So now, so we will go to the history. So whatever the operation which you are performing on after cloning. So when we are fetching from this table, it is using extra small warehouse. When we are deleting, it is using extra small warehouse. Again, when we are using the same select query, it is using extra small warehouse. Okay, but if you are looking at the main table, still it is not using warehouse size because it is cloning it. Clear? Any doubts on clone?
No.
No questions? Okay, then so I'll share the code. So please go through it if you guys having any doubts. So we'll discuss tomorrow.